Now, before I start this video, I'm going to be deadly honest with you. The likes of LBC and James O'Brien are things that I've grown out of. I've understood exactly where they're coming from, and they're totally nuts. Now, there might be one or two presenters on there that may be a bit sane, but the rest of them are just literally far left and, into my rule book, genuinely disgusting and lying little twats. However, between the whole lot of them, you couldn't get any worse than James O'Brien. James O'Brien is a kind of presenter that likes to make fool of people that don't like his way of thinking. Actually, in fact, if you don't like his way of thinking, he's going to have everything at his portal to make sure that he makes you look absolutely stupid. It's not exactly a one-to-one when you're talking about it, you know. If you talk about talk radio, at least they actually talk to you and listen to you, unless you don't go nuts like sometimes I do, right? But they actually listen to you, talk to you, and give you a conversation. But this man, if he doesn't like the way you're coming across on his radio station, then he just likes to make a complete fool of you. Now, on this occasion, you may have seen this clip quite a few times, but I just wanted to put my point across in reference to how this went. Now, this is all to do with the farmers' strike and the way that the government have tried to tax the farmers on when someone dies in a family, then they basically going to lose the farm due to the fact of the taxes of like 30, 40, 20% or whatever it is, right? So let's get started.
What would you like to say?
I would like to make 2 points. I'm going to correct you on your 7-year thing, and then I'm going to fill in the gap in your knowledge.
I've got the HM Revenue and Customs page in front of me on the 7-year thing.
Perfect. So
it's not me you're correcting. It's the official advice.
No. It is you. It is you.
You see the whole patronising thing. You don't just let the guy start talking. Now, to be fair, the guy obviously knows James O'Brien from past clips or Facebook clips or even YouTube or whatever. He understands that this James O'Brien's a complete twat, right? So you can tell by the voice that he feels that way. And I would feel that way, and I would need to come across that way because I'd want to close him down before he starts acting like a complete twat. But let's get this going.
It is you. You've got the wrong end of the stick.
Okay.
But so with the 7-year thing, are you happy that a farmer can pass it on in 7 years inheritance tax free?
Hang on, you're supposed to be correcting me.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you a question.
Oh, am I happy? Well, everyone enjoys that freedom.
Yeah.
So I mean, in an ideal world, probably get rid of all the loopholes. But I think that.
Don't be a plonker all your life, Rodney.
He's just a metropolitan piece of crap that just looks after himself. And there's many things that I say about James O'Brien, but caring about other people other than his little clique, no.
It would be brutal.
So why is it then that it's acceptable to pass on a farm in 7 years from now, but for someone that's worked on that farm for the last 40 years, all of a sudden they can't get that? If their dad died 2 years ago, if their parents die in before this thing comes in, they're going to get hit by inheritance tax. They've worked that farm for their entire life.
Yes.
Why is that? Why is that different?
You've just explained why it's different because the rules have changed.
So exactly
to meet the new need, and also, of course, 1984 was the point.
What is the new need? That's the other thing, isn't it? What is the new need that they have to tax farmers so their kids basically lose the farm because of the tax? Because that's what it comes down to. You see, it's all very well taxing people for their income or any other kind of thing like that. However, if you tax a farmer, if you tax the kids on the farm, you're not only taxing the actual farm, but also the house and everything. It means that they not only lose their livelihood, but they also lose their house and everything else just to pay for that extra tax. And I think this is where this guy's coming in.
Point this was introduced. So,
That's right.
So 40 years is the perfect point to pick, isn't it? Because prior to 1984, you'd have been paying more inheritance tax, and all those farms.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Yes, you would. So how was that fair?
No, they wouldn't, because 40 years ago, farmland wasn't the price it is now.
Prior to but the percentage that you'd pay on it would have been the same, not the total.
Percentages,
yes,
exactly,
but tax is all about percent. I'm enjoying being corrected by you, Charlie, but you must let me get a word in edgeways. Tax is all about percentages, not totals. It's about the proportion of the total that goes to the taxman. So because of inflation, hang on. Because of inflation, obviously all the numbers are going to be higher.
It's not inflation.
Okay, well, because of some mysterious magic formula, all the numbers are going to be higher than they were 40 years ago. But just to show you politely the error of your ways. The reason why rules change is because of economic policy. So your point is as valid as ringing me in 1984 and complaining about how unfair it is that you had to pay inheritance tax last year in 1983, and a farmer who passes away next year in 1985, his heirs won't have to pay any inheritance tax at all. Do you see the rules change?
No. Hang on. If you let me get a word in edgeways now, how much was land worth in 1984 per acre?
But you keep asking me questions.
No. Yeah, well,
considerably less. Well, how much was my house worth? How much was my house worth? How much was my...
Hey, are you okay?
My house worth in 1984, Charlie? Answer the question.
Just...
He's getting a little bit upset. He's really round him up. He's getting really upset. Oh, you poor thing, James. Now you know how it feels at the other end of the phone call, you complete twat.
Now, you said that if you don't have the information, you make bad decisions. So in 1984, the average cost of an acre was £3,780.
And the average cost of a house?
I've no idea. I'm not talking about houses, I'm talking about acres.
No, you're talking about inheritance tax, which applies to houses. So what was the average cost of a house in 1984?
I've no idea, James. I don't care about houses. I'm caring about acres. That's
okay,
what
so I'll give you...
Stupid little plonker, Rodney.
Give you a spoiler alert. They cost a lot less 40 years ago than they do now.
£3,788.
But the percentage of tax that you pay is the same regardless of how much the estate is worth.
Right, so you're quite happy. You're quite happy that they can get.
I don't know that I'm happy, Charlie. I mean, that's an existential question.
Hang on,
but if I'm offered a choice.
And now I tell you what, because we're not going to agree on this, I'll tell you why.
We can't disagree about counting.
I will tell you
it's
why.
It's not an opinion.
It's
just counting.
If you stop talking over me and let someone who actually knows speak for once, and I know that's difficult for you, James.
Why are you so rude, Charlie? It's not my fault.
Rude.
It's not my fault. You've just made.
You are the rudest person on the radio because you sit there with your foot in your knob.
I'm the second rudest person on the radio at the moment. At this moment, Charlie, it's not my fault you're feeling silly. It's now 2024.
Blah blah blah.
Okay,
the point is,
going
I know
well.
what I'm talking about. You don't, and you won't listen.
I'll be quiet for a full 60 seconds.
Fantastic. Right. Okay. I'll tell you why it's different when a farmer inherits a farm and when I inherit my parents' house. So when I inherit my parents' house, my house, my personal house, my job, my pension, my investments, they are all protected. Do you understand that?
It's not true. You have inheritance tax to pay.
Of course it's bloody true. They'd be inheriting the whole bloody thing. So if they're inheriting the whole thing and they're going to be taxed on the whole thing, then they're going to lose, aren't they? They're going to lose their livelihood and also the place that they live. You complete and utter twat. How can you not understand that?
Realise what a 100% 24-carat plonker he really is.
On the estate that you inherit from your parents, you just pay double what you would on farmland.
No. My job is protected. I pay inheritance on the asset I inherit.
Yes, the asset.
Yeah, exactly. So my house.
And the farm isn't that?
Well,
I'm supposed to be quiet. Carry on. But if you say things that aren't true, I have to interrupt.
My house is not impacted by me inheriting my parents' house. Do you agree with that? My personal income, my personal job, my personal investments are not impacted by me inheriting my parents' house.
Well, it's not hard to understand that, unless. But he just will not back down. This guy is just unbelievable.
Unless it's a B&B and you work there or something like that. Unless the property is part of your business. But this is about agricultural land.
Right, okay. So now let's talk about agricultural land. So when a farmer inherits his farm that he's been working on for all of his life, That
Well,
is his
not
house.
necessarily.
Now,
We
hang
just
on,
we
James,
just
you was
spoke.
going to be quiet.
We
You
ju-
was
yeah,
gonna
but
be
you've had
quiet.
60 seconds
so
now.
You're talking over people again, James.
But you're not making sense, Charlie.
Well, you haven't
How is
let me
he?
finish.
How is he
You
Okay,
haven't
not
let me
finish,
making
finish,
James.
sense?
Finish then,
How
Charlie.
can you not make
so
sense
when
of
a
this?
farmer inherits his farm and he can't afford to pay that inheritance tax because it's hundreds of thousands of pounds and he only makes £30,000 a year.
Well, look, can we
that's
crunch
his
the
home.
numbers quickly?
That's his home, James.
Can we crunch
That's
the
his-
numbers quickly?
Yeah, by all means.
So
Which
hundreds of
numbers?
thousands of pounds worth of tax, presuming, of course, that it's passed from spouse to spouse and then to heir. So it's in excess of £3 million. So
£4.5
for
million in case of my family.
for hundreds of thousands of pounds at a 20% tariff, regardless of what the figure is, the percentage is 20%. You'd have to be living in an estate worth sort of £6, £7, or £8 million.
No, 4.5 million, James.
No, hundreds of thousands of pounds. You said.
4.5. Yeah, exactly.
So that's 1.5 million. 20% of
Now, if you think of it logically, right, on a farm, you're going to have all that land that's going to be worth a certain amount of money, but you can only do so much with the land, unless you get special permission to be able to build in it or something. And then you have the house, and then you have the machinery that they need to use around the farm, whether it be the van, or whether it be tractors, whether it be things that claw up the land and all that sort of stuff. I'm not a farmer, right? But if you put all that into one nut, it will come up to a fair few quid. James considers that as cash, considers that as money. He doesn't consider it as the business, as the house, because it's one big lump sum. So if you tax that big lump sum, a big chunk, then now they have to sell either the land or the house or the farm. And James just can't understand that. He just doesn't understand. And this is what it comes down to, this liberal madness that they have around London. These people are just, they may think that they're intelligent, but they're as dumb as.
of 1.5 million over 10 years.
Yeah, and how are you going to pay that?
And 40% for everybody else.
How are you going to pay that when you earn 25 grand a year?
The same. Well, I don't. How can you possibly be arguing, Charlie? Charlie.
My house is protected. When
Yeah.
a farmer inherits his farm, his house is at risk.
Why don't you sell some stuff?
Oh,
Like what, James?
Well, some of you,
Who's gonna buy it?
some of you.
Stupid little plonker, Rodney.
Who's
Land.
going to buy it?
unbelievable!
I don't know. Lots of
How
people
was-
are trying to buy land.
How was he supposed to do the farm? How was he supposed to make a living? He only earns like 25, 30, 40 grand a year. And this guy said, well, can't you just sell something? Can't you just sell something? These liberal minds, these people live on a different planet to everyone else. They've never suffered in their lives. The likes of James O'Brien, been in private education, always had money, and lives in a very nice area, in a very nice house, and never ever had to worry about money, food on the table, all that sort of shit. These are the kinds of people that are the threat to our country. These are the kinds of people that really need to. Well, we need to make fools of them, and this just proves how ignorant and stupid the man is.
But
No, that's the funny
what
thing.
do you want a
Another
name?
farmer's not going to buy
John.
it, are they?
John's going to
Another
buy it.
farmer-
John is going to buy it.
John's going to build solar panels on it.
John, I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he's going to. But you
I'm
asked me who
telling
was
you,
going to buy
I'm
it, which you
telling
don't
because we've had the
recognise.
offers. We've had the
You're
offers
shouting at
for
me
solar
again.
panels. We've had the offers for wind
Well,
farms.
there you go.
We've
Then
had
what
the
are you
offers-
complaining about?
Because he doesn't want to sell off his bloody land, you stupid idiot.
Because we don't want to concrete over the land. I know you're a townie. I know you're happy living in your liberal elite world of London. But for us,
No, if you just.
the countryside is the countryside. It's where I don't want to concrete over the land. I know you're a townie. I know
Look at
you're
this.
happy living in your liberal elite world of London.
That look alone, seriously, that's not a proper smile. That's just pure evil. Look at the eyes, look at the mouth and the whole thing. That, to me, that whole face just reeks of evil. Just I don't know what's going on in the man's head, but it's not nice. It can't be nice.
But for us, the countryside is the countryside. It's where our food comes from, James.
So you've been
seem to have
offered-
forgotten that.
you
seem to have forgotten that, haven't you, James?
Charlie, you
can't
don't.
accept it.
Okay, mate. I'm going to have a
I'm not
little.
your mate. I hate you.
I'm go-
I think you're an idiot.
Okay.
I think you're a lefty, liberal, woke idiot.
Okay, Charlie. The thing about solar panels or indeed wind farms is that they create energy. Now, can you
right.
think of any
I'm an
profession?
electrical engineer, James. I know how that works.
Can you think of any profession you have some experience of that uses a lot of energy?
What he's basically saying is that, you should just sell off your land or use it for something else because the metropolitan elite have decided that we want a load of more of your money. So you need to sell off whatever you need to sell off because we want your money. This is pure theft. This is pure disgusting behaviour. I don't understand people like this. See, I believe in taxes, but when it gets to this kind of tax rate that we're paying in the UK, and this evil of like taking off payments for old people on their heating and taking farms away from farmers that we all need to be able to eat, um, I don't know. I'm lost for words by the pure. I don't know if it's pure evil or just pure arrogance. I don't know which one it is.